Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Mary and welcome to another Craft Day Wednesday, where every Wednesday I post a new video. In today's video, I am going to be doing a floating teacup beach themed craft. And this is my first crafting video after Hurricane Laura. Yeah, so as some of you may know, my family was in a hurricane that hit our hometown head on and did a lot of damage. And we were without power for 10 days, and some people are still without power. But this is my first video since the hurricane. So yeah, and I was actually working on this project before we was hit. So I decided to just go ahead and finish it up on camera, just in case if it was something that you guys were interested in. So basically what you're going to need for this project is you're going to be needing clear plastic. I got some twine. It's the little rope that you get from Dollar Tree. I call it twine. It's probably got another name. You're going to be needing wood glue or any type of glue you want to use. You can even use white Elmer school glue. I have seashells that you're going to be needing. They're seashells. And I have a couple different sizes. I got glitter, which is gold and turquoise blue. Optional. You don't have to use it, but I will be using it. I have some little items that I wanted to use. Some little turtles that I made, starfish, and a little lifesaver. I made all of these things. Sorry, I dropped one. I made all of these out of air dry clay. You're going to be needing wax paper, optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. You're going to be needing hot glue. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. I also have water and paper towels to clean my fingers because it will get messy. So, and this is what I've already done. I went ahead and I used a plate or saucer, and I'm using 2 cups this time instead of 1. And what I did was I went ahead and glued everything down in place because it needed to be glued before I could even do anything else. And as you can see here, I used a wire. See, I used a wire instead of a fork. And I'm not sure on the grade of the wire that I used because I took it out of my husband's toolbox in his man cave. So yeah, and basically what I did was I took that rope and I went ahead and wrapped it around the whole cup. I mean the saucer, and I did it around the cup as well. This is what it looks like. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera down so I can go ahead and finish everything up. So this is what I've done. I went ahead and I wrapped everything around. Now what I want to do before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and set this on here. And remember when I was talking about it's going to get messy? This is what I'm going to talking about. I have, oops, let's set this out of the way. I have my coffee can here, and what's in here is sawdust. This is what I use for my sand. When my husband works on a different wood project, because as I mentioned before, we are remodeling our house, so there's a lot of construction going on where there's wood involved, and I usually go down and get the dust because it looks like sand to me. I guess that's just me, but that's what it looks like. So what I do is I'm going to grab my teacup and I am going to take some wood glue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take and put some glue, some wood glue right down in here, just like that. And this is what I said when I said it's going to get messy, because it will, but I don't mind being it being messy when you're crafting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and I put a little pencil mark in here so I can separate the sauce, the two ends of the saucer. This side over here would be water, and this is going to be the sand because it is beach themed. And I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to lightly rub this around. And I'm going to go in the back. I'm going to go all the way around, just on this side though. And I'm making sure that I have this glue in every part because I want this to stick. Okay. I'm just going to take a little bit from here and I'm just going to smear that around. And now I'm just going to take and just clean off my fingers. That's what I have the water for. And this is where I have the sand or the glue. Now this is what I said when I said it's going to get messy. This is what you want the wax paper for. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take the lid off and I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle my sand in place, which is actually sawdust. And I'm going to do it kind of heavy. And then I'm just going to go all the way around. Stick this down around here. Doing it kind of heavy. And I am going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to press it down to make sure that it sticks. And I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to press this down. And I'm just going to let that set just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move my camera up a little. And I'm going to do the same thing to the top. Let's turn this. Because I want sand on the cup too. So just like I did down here, I took a pencil and I just kind of sketched out where I want the sand to be. And now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to do the same thing up here. Just going to put a little bit in of the couple places that I want. And I'm going to grab that. Just like this. And I'm going to just go ahead and take my finger. And I am going to rub that in. Be like I mentioned, if you don't want to get messy, then you could skip this step. But I actually want sand on top of my cup. I just like the way it looks. And I'm not going to put it all over. Just where I got it marked. Just like that. Now I'm going to rinse my fingers. If you rinse them right away, then the glue don't have time to make a mess on your fingers. So just going to get my fingers cleaned off. And now I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this right on top. And smooth this over so it stays right on my area where only where I want the glue. And like I mentioned, this is totally optional. You do not have to do this step, but I think it's going to add a little extra detail. I'm just pushing that down off in here. Now, I'm just going to go ahead, turn this, and shake off the excess. Now, I'm just going to move this out of the way because we don't need it anymore. Set that there. Grab this. And we're not going to waste our little sawdust. We're just going to put that right back in there. And now I'm just going to clean off my little area and myself. Put that back in there. Gonna move this out of the way. Now we're gonna bring this back. And this is what it looks like. We have our sand here. And then we have our sand here. And then we have this part open here. So now, let's turn my camera back down a little bit so y'all can see. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take my clear plastic, which I have here, and I'll show you how I did this. Set this back here. So basically what I did to create this effect, if you can see it, I basically took a piece of plastic that I have here, and I'm going to grab me some scissors, and I'm going to go ahead and cut. And I'm going to cut this off again. Just move this out of the way. Just cut a little strip out. So this is what we have here. We have our strip of plastic, and what I did to get this effect here, and I've done this a couple times in some other videos, all you're going to do is take your glue gun and you're just going to drag it. And you're going to let it dry. So you're just going to keep dragging it and you're going to let it dry. And you're going to do this several times until you're happy with the way it looks. Let's grab me another glue stick. Let's pull this back. And we're just going to continue to just add our strips. And this is it. Now we're going to let that dry. This is what we have. And you can work on wax paper so you don't get glue on your desk, but it scrapes right up. So I'm just going to move that out of the way and let that dry. And I'm just going to take my fingers on my hand and just scrape up that extra glue. And once it dries, you're going to end up with it looking like this. So I am going to bring this back, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to bend this up like this. And I'm going to go ahead and squeeze a little bit of hot glue down in here. And yep, some of my sand fell off because it's not completely dry, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this in here. And I'm going to hold it and let that dry. And I'm going to add a little more hot glue down off in here. And I'm just going to hold that here. Grab me another glue stick. Stick that in here. Just like that. And I am going to add some there. And we're just going to hold that. So this is what we have so far. And I'm just going to go ahead and add the rest. So now that we have that this is how you're going to glue it in place. So you're going to make a little bend here. You're going to glue it here. And then we're going to add a little bit of hot glue here. Let's see how we want this. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of hot glue down through here. And we're just going to go ahead and stick that just like this. I'm just going to hold a little pressure here until that dries. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so now that we have that, I am going to go ahead and grab my seashells and start adding seashells. And then I'll come back and do this part. This is going to be water. Okay. So in this part, I didn't mention it because it's optional, only if you want to. Now, I took a piece of cardboard and I cut it in half like this. And I went ahead and put sand on it and put some seashells because I wanted to cover. I don't want this glass to be open. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here. So I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right on this cardboard. And I'll show y'all how I did this, just in case if it's something that y'all want to do. So we're going to stick this here, just like that. Come on. Here's Coco. She always wants to be where I am. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and see how this is going to look over here. Okay, so what I did to get this here, set that out of the way. Okay, so we're going to grab our wood glue, and I'm going to grab that wax paper again because we don't want to get our desk all messy. So what I did was took some of that wood glue, put a little bit on, smeared it with my finger, just like that. I'm going to take my rest that glue off my fingers. I'm going to grab that sand. I'm just going to go ahead. Let's put this out of the way. And we're just going to sprinkle a little on here. Just like that. And I'm just going to push this down to make sure that it sticks. And just tap off the extra. Just like that. And I see that I could add just a little. So grab a little bit of that wood glue. And I'm just going to put a little bit here. That way I want to make sure my whole project is covered. My whole piece is covered with that sand or sawdust. Okay. Now I'm going to set this out of the way, and we're just going to dump this right back in there. Move that. Get my fingers clean. So I got my fingers clean. Now we're going to go ahead, set this out of the way. Okay. So I basically I'm just gonna go through here and find some random seashells. Some that's not too big, not too small. Let's move that. So now basically all I'm doing is just looking through here and trying to find a seashell that I actually like. The majority of these are going to be used anyway. So we're going to go with this one because it does not have to match. And I'm going to put this here like that. And I'm going to go to my other seashells. And I'm just going to find two random pieces. or maybe 3. It doesn't matter. All right. And we're going to glue these in place. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue on this seashell, and we're just going to stick that right there. And then I'm going to put some on this one. We're going to stick that there. Here. We're going to stick this like this. And then this little one, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And we're just going to stick that down just like that. So it does not have to match the other one. And I'm just going to slide those out of the way. And I am going to see how this is going to look. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some hot glue down on here. Grab a glue stick. And we're just going to go ahead, add some glue. And you want to add a good amount to make sure everything sticks. Alright, bring your cup back. And we're just going to go ahead and stick this in place. Like that. And since one of my seashells came off, no big deal. I'm just going to go ahead, put a little bit of hot glue here. And stick this back in place. I'm going to grab another one. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So we're just going to put a little bit of hot glue. And I'm just going to stick this right there in place. And this is what we have. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start putting seashells and stuff over here. I also have rocks that I picked up out of my yard that you can use if you want to. So I'm going to dump some of those out and just see what I want to do. Because I don't really have an ideal or exactly what I want to do. I'm just going with it. So I'm going to put some seashells up in here like this. But before I do that, I think I'm going to take some Mod Podge gloss, and I'm going to brush this and sprinkle it with a little bit of turquoise sand, just to give it a little pop of color. So we're just going to brush this with a little bit of Mod Podge gloss. I think I'm saying that right. Mod Podge gloss. I'm just going to brush this a little bit. Optional, you don't have to do this. Stick that there. And I am going to take my turquoise glitter. And I'm just going to add a little bit of, I'm going to lean it over and I'm just going to shake and add a little bit of glitter to it to give it a little bit of just a little bit of color. Like this. Like I said, optional. You don't have to do that. But I just think it looks a lot better. Okay. And I'm just taking my finger and just kind of moving it around. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is start adding seashells. I think I'm going to put a couple up here. Like this. So, grabbing my glue gun, gonna put some hot glue on here, and I'm just gonna stick this down in here. A little bit of glue here. And we're just going to stick this like this. And I think I'll do one more. Actually, let's do that. So let's go ahead and add some hot glue to this. And we're just going to go ahead and stick this down off in there. Like that. So there we have that. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and add some seashells down here, big and small. Also, I have my turtles here that I made. And if you want to see how I made the turtle in the little lifesaver in the starfish, just let me know. Okay. So I'm just going to add some hot glue here. Just going to stick this down just like that. And I'm just basically just rearranging stuff, just playing around with it, because I don't really know how I want everything to go, but I'm just kind of visualizing it as I go. I think I want to do this one back, like right here. So I'm just going to put some hot glue on here. And I'm just going to stick that down just like this. A little bit of hot glue on my starfish. I'm going to put a little turtle here. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I want to use the turtles or the lifesaver. We'll just let that lay for now and just figure it out. Now I'm going to put some seashells up here. So we're just going to... One thing I have to mention, you're going to go through a lot of glue. Hot glue. So make sure you have plenty of glue sticks handy if you're going to do this project. Let's see here. I want to do some little ones towards the top. So I'm just going to stick this right there like that. And let's do one here. Like this. And I feel like I want to do one here. Okay. And this is what we have so far. If you want to add more seashells, you can. I think I may do one more right here. I think I may do this one here. There we go. And now, let's put another starfish here. And I think I'll put the other one here. Or maybe here. Alright. Okay, now I'm going to get all of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to get my area cleaned up. Okay, now that I got my area kind of clean, it's time to go ahead and see if we want to add rocks, but I don't know. I'm not going to do that step just yet. I'm going to set this off to the side. Move that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my plastic. What did I do with it? So now we have our clip plastic, and I'm going to go ahead and do this side of the teacup. So we're going to set that off to the side. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take my hands and I'm just going to crumble this up. It's just going to give you a more realistic crumble effect, like for the water, like I did with the other one. So, and now, same method. You're going to take your hot glue gun and you're just going to drag it. Don't worry about making it perfect. It don't have to be perfect. We're just going to randomly drag this glue across this and let it dry. And once, like I mentioned before, if you get hot glue on your desk, it's fine. It'll come right off. But you can use, one wax paper or parchment paper down underneath if you don't want to get your desk all messy. For me, it doesn't really matter because it is a crafting desk and it's going to get messy. That's the one thing about my crafting room. No matter how neat I try to keep it, when I start crafting, it just don't stay. Alright. Now, I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. I'm going to move everything out of my way. And it's not going to take long to dry. Now, I'm going to bring this back. And I am just going to go ahead. I'm going to lift this up. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick this down under here. Let's move this starfish for a minute. And I am just going to go ahead and stick this into place. So basically all I'm going to do is go ahead and just glue this down and around here and get everything else glued down into place. So all we're doing is just gluing this down and around and in place. So just going to stick this here and you're going to add a little bit of hot glue as you go. So and now I'm just tucking the extra that I have here like this. I'm just kind of tucking it under and just going to glue this into place. So you're just going to make sure you add a good amount of glue to make sure everything sticks. Oops, there we go. Just adding a little more glue, just like that. Now, this is what it looks like. And if you want to, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue everything down. I have that there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to push this up a little bit. So we're just going to So this is what it looks like. Now, if you want to, it's totally up to you. You could take some hot glue and just put it up around there. And I'm just going to use some extra, just a little bit of more hot glue. And I'm just going to squeeze some down here in random places. Just like this. You don't have to do this step. This is just what I'm doing. And I'm just going to let this dry. And I'm just going to put a little bit there. I'm going to let that dry, which it should not take long to dry. It is hot glue and it dries fast. So now I'm just going to put a little bit here and hold this. So once again, I'm going to grab my Mod Podge gloss and I'm just going to brush this lightly. Actually, I'm just basically just tapping this clear Mod Podge on. Just random places. And I am going to go ahead and take that glue, or I mean that glitter, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little on here just to give it a little bit of a shine, if you will. And we are done. And that's it. Here it is. Our floating beach theme teacup craft. Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera back up so y'all can see me. And as I mentioned, I have the little, before I end this, I have, set this to the side, I have some little rocks here. And if you want to add some rocks, it's really totally up to you. Let's get some of this out of the way. You can add rocks, like you can put some down off in the water. Maybe I'll add a couple. Yeah. So before I end, I'm just going to go ahead and just stick a couple of these rocks down off in the water. So just put a little bit of hot glue on here, like that. Just put them in random places, I guess, wherever you think it's going to look the best. I don't want to add too many. I put too much pressure on that. I don't want to add too many. Maybe I'll put one. Oh, this is a pretty one. I'll put one right here. Like, yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to go ahead and put these three right here, and I think that's going to be it for rocks. So let's stick that there, just like that. Now I'm going to move those out of the way, and now that's it. We are done. This is what it looks like. Turn my camera up. So this is what we got. If you like this video, please give me a like and a thumbs up. Please feel free to share this video with your family and friends. If you would like to see me do any other crafting related videos, let me know in the comment box below. I also do Q&As if you want to ask me some questions. Also, if you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to become a member of my YouTube family. Yeah, and also set the bell. That way when I post a video, you'll be notified so you won't miss out. And yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch me make this little beach themed craft. So yeah, with that being said, once again, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a nice day. Bye.